Hey everyone, Ken from the Dam here. We get asked the question a lot, like, who comes to the Dam? What kind of kids come to the Dam? And, the real answer to that question is all kinds of kids make the Dam their place and their space, and it's a safe place for all youth. But it also gives me an opportunity to talk about something that we work with at the Dam called the ACE score. ACE stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences, ACE. This is a set of 10 questions, and we asked them in our spring survey. We didn't make them up. This is a score that was developed elsewhere, has been tested lots and lots of times, and it says that if people have these experiences in their childhood, particularly multiple of these experiences in their childhood, the likelihood of negative outcomes in their adulthood increases. And so these questions cover things like physical abuse, verbal abuse, sexual abuse, emotional neglect and physical neglect, whether or not your parents are separated or divorced. I know that that's super common, but it still seems to be something that really matters and impacts children. Domestic violence and violence to women in the home, alcoholism or drug abuse in the home, mental illness or attempted suicide, a family member who goes to prison. These are the questions that kind of make up this ACE score. And so in our survey this past spring, we had 25% of the of the youth who go to our Cooksville site say that they had experienced 4 or more of these adverse childhood experiences. And that seems to be the bar. They say if you've experienced 4 or more of these adverse childhood experiences, that the likelihood of some negative outcomes in your adulthood goes way, way up. So 25% in Cooksville. And when we looked at our Meadowvale site, that number was at 34%. So in other words, about 1 in 4 kids walking into Cooksville every day and about 1 in 3 of our kids walking into Meadowvale every day have had some really, really tough experiences in their childhood. And the reality is that on our survey, kids can even click prefer not to answer, which a lot of them do. So we can actually guess that number is actually a lot higher. This is important for us to keep in mind at the Dam because it just reminds us that everybody's got a story, and a lot of people are carrying some really hard things with them. And it reminds us, and maybe it can remind everyone out there too, that meeting people with love, meeting people with empathy and compassion, meeting them in a way that opens our arms and says, hey, you're welcome here no matter what happened. Because the reality is their past does not necessarily write their future. And at the Dam every day, we're working hard to make sure that it won't and that we can change that story. Thanks for listening.